Oh, hey, Poe, what do you know? Welcome to my first reading vlog. This reading vlog takes place during days 1 through 3 of the Nevermore Readathon, being hosted by Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures. And Poe is going to say goodbye for now. I will link Kat's channel down below. So in this video, you will get to catch up to what I'm doing as far as reading for the Nevermore Readathon. I will take you with me on this past Friday while I was able to do some book shopping and go to lunch with my husband and one of my daughters. And then on Friday night, Kat kicked off the Nevermore Readathon on her channel with sprints. And then Saturday, you'll get to go with me while I go to a memorial birthday celebration for my father in law who passed away a few years ago. And on Sunday, you will get to take a peek at kind of my morning time. I check in the morning on Saturday too. So you'll get a peek at my life when I'm at home, a peek at my life when I'm out and about, and some discussions of Poe. So I hope you enjoy this vlog. And now I'm going to kick it back to the past and let you take a look at my days 1 through 3 of the Nevermore Readathon. See you there. Bye. It is Friday evening, about 5 o'clock, and I wanted to check in. This is day one of the Nevermore Readathon, and this readathon is being hosted in celebration of the birthday of Edgar Allan Poe, which is today. And this readathon is being hosted by Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures. And so I will link her channel down in the description box below. You will probably hear my youngest child. She is the only one who still lives at home, and she is home from school now. And she's with my husband, but you will probably hear her in the background. You may hear my cat, my dog, because hey, that's life, right? I am tired right now. It's been a long day. I had a doctor's appointment this morning, just the annual checkup with my OBGYN, and I'm feeling pretty old because I was the only patient in his office today that was not a young pregnant woman. And to top it off and make it even more ancient feeling for me, I was back there in my appointment discussing with him my mammogram, the fact that I'm in either perimenopause, menopause, something. They had to do lab work, so I've got to go in for an ultrasound. And he also gave me this information telling me that I needed to get with my GI doctor to schedule a colonoscopy. So yay for getting old, right? After that, my husband and I met one of our older daughters for lunch, and then we went to a local bookshop. And you saw both the bookshop and lunch in the footage that I shared. And the place where we ate lunch is called the Cheese Cottage, and I will link it in the description box below. And the bookshop that we visited is the Haunted Bookshop, and I will also link that. I guess one of the good things about being at the doctor's office today, though, was that I had some time to read while I was in the waiting room. And I wanted to start off the Nevermore Readathon by rereading The Telltale Heart and The Black Cat, because those are our group reads. And I'm going to be joining Kat for a live discussion on both of those stories on Thursday, January 25th. So this coming up Thursday, at 6:30 p.m., and that's Central Standard Time. So I didn't actually get a lot of reading done in the waiting room, but I did get some. I took the Telltale Heart and other writings, but I didn't get into rereading the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat because first I wanted to read a couple of the essays in this book, Poe times seven. I'm not going to say that Poe that many times. And this is by Daniel Hoffman, and I talked about this in my Nevermore.
Doing the ones that I'm familiar with already. So, like for example, there's the story after this one. It's inspired by.
Hello, it is day 2 of the Nevermore Readathon vlog. The last time I checked in, I said that I probably wouldn't check back in until after my father-in-law's memorial kind of celebration cookout today. But I thought I would hop on for just a few minutes while I was putting on some makeup and drinking my second cup of coffee, waiting for the caffeine to kick in. It has not yet, but fingers crossed that it's going to kick in soon. You will definitely hear my daughter in the background. She's being very vocal this morning. You may hear my dog barking too. So it's life again. Like I've said, if you're going to watch my channel, you're going to see dogs, you're going to see cats, you're going to hear the dogs and cats, you're going to hear my daughter sometimes, and that's my family. So welcome to it. So I did get a little bit of reading done last night. I joined Kat for her sprints at Kat's channel, and I will link that in the description box down below. Lauren from I blanked out Little Haunts Library also joined, and I will link her channel down below too. So I am just catching up on some YouTube videos this morning. I will also link the channels that I am watching. When you kind of see some of the footage that I shared, I will link the channels I'm watching as well. So to talk a little bit about what I did read last night in this book, Poe, Tom 7, there were some interesting things that were brought up by Daniel Hoffman, who wrote these essays. I think he wrote all of them. Yeah, it's a collection of essays all by him. He's not just the editor; he's actually the one who did all of the writing. So I just wanted to double check there. Now, the two stories that I was really looking at essays for are Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat and The Telltale Heart, because those are the group reads for the Nevermore Readathon. And I was kind of digging what he was saying for a little while, because he made this connection um, between the black cat and the telltale heart, and that concept of the evil eye in folklore and mythology. But then he started getting way, way too Freudian. Um, so he kind of lost me there a little bit. I do enjoy psychoanalytic theory. However, I don't always see what some of this Freudian ideology is. Some of it is interesting, and I can certainly see an interpretation of Poe's works, obviously through a psychoanalytic lens. But some of this Freudian stuff I thought went a bit too far. I don't want to talk too much about it though, because I do want to save that for the live discussion that I'll be joining Kat for on Thursday, January 25th at 6:30. And when Kat gets that link ready, I will link that on my channel so you can join us for a discussion of the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat with minimal Freudian discussion, right? So, other than trying to get my makeup on, I am also, excuse the noise while I'm plundering through my makeup bag here, but I am also looking over the grad student that I mentor. I'm looking over her thesis abstract and her rough draft. So I'm reading through that to give her some feedback, and it takes a lot of time because I want to really get into all of the things that I really think she's doing incredibly well, but at the same time offer some constructive, and I hate to use this word, but constructive criticism. I'll say feedback, right? I like to say feedback instead. And I also still struggle with giving feedback to a grad student because I just graduated with my master's in English in December. So sometimes I still feel like I'm not equipped to do this. Like, who do I think I am? So I do deal with imposter syndrome sometimes, but I try to look back and think about how much my mentor meant to me when I was going through my process of working on my thesis. So I just want to be able to give that to someone else too. And just come at it honestly, say, hey, these are my thoughts, these are my suggestions. You know, I am I am not your professor. I'm a peer, really, even though I'm a few months ahead of you. You're going to be right, right where I am in a few weeks. So I try to look at it like that and just remind myself that it's good to have a community, right? When you're working on any kind of project, really, but something as daunting as your thesis, it's good to have community and to work with people who have been there before, right? So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I should share in this update. I had hoped to watch The Pale Blue Eye tonight, but I probably won't get to because, again, like I said, around lunchtime, I will be going to the cookout to commemorate my father in law. And after I get back from that, I really need to work some more on feedback for the grad student that I'm working with. I need to do some cleaning around my house. I need to work on a video for my full review of the book Poor Things. I need to get my TBR ready for Folklore of February, that's also being hosted by Kat at Kat's Novel Adventures. So I have quite a lot going on, but I just wanted to hop on for just a minute and check in with everybody. I would love to know what you've been reading for the Nevermore Readathon, and I will check in with you again sometime after I get home from my father in law's celebration cookout. So I will talk to you then. Bye.
And they were just not good to me, and Loathe entirely is for
Gandalf. Hey, it is around 8 o'clock on Sunday morning. It is day 3 of the Nevermore Readathon. I did not end up checking in last night. It was late when we got back from my father in law's memorial kind of birthday celebration. And so I was just too tired to come on and check in. I didn't even get a whole lot of reading done when we got home either, but I did get a start on my rereading of The Black Cat and the Telltale Heart. So I just wanted to show you some of the things that I am annotating for this to get ready for the live discussion, which will be coming up on Thursday evening. So, just some of the things that I'm tabbing, I want to make sure that I am noticing similar themes in each of the stories. So, this top tab here, this one is for anytime Poe writes about the senses and madness. The purple tab is going to be for I, because both of these stories have connections to the eye, which I mentioned before about the folklore around the evil eye, and then the actual word I, like I am not mad. How could you say that I am mad? And then the orange one is for mentions of hell and also mentions of mythology and folklore. And then this blue tab is for any mention of time. So I apologize if you can hear my heat coming on. It's actually cold, which is kind of unusual for us to have temperatures as cold as we've had them this past week or so. Because I'm in South Alabama on the Gulf Coast, so we're not used to lows in the 20s, and we even had some lows in the teens, so that's been interesting. So anyway, back to there. It stopped now. Back to what I have tabbed so far with the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat. What I find really interesting is that both of these stories open up in a similar kind of way. So at the beginning of the Telltale Heart, just some of the things that I've highlighted when it comes to the senses and madness are when Poe writes, "Why will you say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them." And then he goes on to say, "How then am I mad?" And then in the opening of the Black Cat, it's very similar. "Mad indeed would I be to expect it, in a case where my very senses reject their own evidence. yet mad I am not. So we get in both of these stories this idea of the narrator trying to convince the reader and possibly trying to convince themselves that they are not mad. And the next thing that I took a note of, and this is just for the Telltale Heart right now, because I decided after I looked at how the openings were similar, then I was just going to read through the Telltale Heart and tab the certain, you know, elements that I want to look at. And then after that, tab those elements in. Okay, my heater is making noise again. Okay, I apologize for that. So I decided, as I was saying, that I wanted to, after looking at the opening of both of the stories, just go through the Telltale Heart and make my annotations, and then do the Black Cat. So one of the things that I have taken note of as far as the I in the Telltale Heart is this idea, right, that the narrator is claiming that he had to kill this old man because of the old man's eye, right? So he says it was his eye. It was this. He had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye. Whenever it fell upon me, my blood ran cold. By degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the eye forever. So, definitely see there that this narrator, I don't even know what to say really about about him, right? He's obsessed with this man's eye. And I don't want to say, like I said, a whole lot, because some of these things I definitely want to save for that live discussion coming up. And then he goes again right after that and says, "You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing." So again, is he convincing us? Is he trying to convince himself, right? And then the next tab I have here is for this time annotation, where he says, "I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I killed him. And every night about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently." So, midnight is very interesting when it comes to time. Poe references midnight in other works of poetry and his short stories. For example, in The Raven, he talks about once upon a midnight dreary, right? So, midnight is this liminal time, right? You're not exactly in one day or the next. You're kind of passing through, right? It's the time where you're changing from one day to the next. And liminal space and liminal times have very important symbolism when it comes to folklore and literature. So that's something that I definitely want to explore. And the fact that it is at midnight every night, right, when this narrator goes into this old man's room. So that's something else that I want to be looking for as well. And after I tab some more things in the Telltale Heart and the Black Cat, hopefully later today, I'll check back in tonight. If I have time today, I'd also like to watch The Pale Blue Eye on Netflix. I'm hoping to be able to fit that in. I may have to go somewhere this afternoon. I'm really hoping not, because I would love to just have a day to read and watch, The Pale Blue Eye. I don't really have a lot of work I have to do today for my grad school mentor ship that I do, because I sent feedback to my student yesterday before we left for my father-in-law's kind of memorial birthday celebration. And probably the only thing I need to do is just kind of either, I could do it tomorrow technically, but I like to kind of get a heads up. I don't teach classes on Monday typically, so Monday is kind of my day to plan, but I like to kind of get an overview on Sunday and go ahead and fill out my planner. So I will probably do that, but I will go now and get to reading, and I look forward to checking in with you again next time. Bye. Hey, so it's Monday morning. I'm on my first cup of coffee, and I feel like I need just like an IV, just pumping in coffee to get me going today. It is day 4 of the Nevermore Readathon. I'm closing out this vlog now, and this will contain the footage from days 1 through 3. I intended to get on last night to close it off since last night ended day 3, but I wasn't quite in the right headspace to get on and talk last night. As I mentioned, if you watched my booktube newbie tag, I am diagnosed with major depressive disorder, and some days are more difficult than others. And last night was just a night where I wasn't doing as well. So today I have already done a couple of things that I need to do. I have uploaded assignments for one of the classes that I teach. I scheduled a meeting to meet with the grad student that I am mentoring. So that's going to be this afternoon. Since I didn't check in last night, let me go over what I accomplished yesterday. I finished my rereading of The Black Cat and the Telltale Heart and annotated those for the live discussion that I'll be doing with Kat from Kat's Novel Adventures that I've mentioned in some clips before. But that's this Thursday night on Kat's channel, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I finished that yesterday, and I have a lot of thoughts that we'll be looking forward to discussing about both of the stories. And then I did watch The Pale Blue Eye yesterday. Now, I did fall asleep for about maybe, I don't know, just a quick little dozing off 10-15 minutes in the movie. So I didn't really miss much. I really don't know how I feel about it. I really liked the atmosphere. I thought it was really beautifully shot, like cinematography wise, and the acting was really good. And Christian Bale plays the investigator who's trying to figure out who has been murdering young cadets at the U.S. Military Academy, where Poe actually did attend. Now, he didn't finish, he got kicked out, but he is a character, of course, in this movie, and he ends up working with the investigator to try to figure out who is murdering his fellow cadets. And there was the first twist. I won't give away anything, but the first twist I thought was really interesting. I thought it was really cool. I really liked it. But then there was a second twist, and I don't know. I just didn't care for that second twist. So I I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I would recommend it if you are a fan of Poe. There's also some content and trigger warnings that you would need to check before going into it. And I really can't go into more details about that because that would be a spoiler as well. And I know that the movie, The Pale Blue Eye, was based on a book, but I really, after watching the movie, I don't have any interest in reading the book. If you've watched the movie, I'd love to know what you thought of it. If you've read the book, let me know what you think of it too. And I just want to thank you all for joining me on my first vlog. And I will be starting vlog 2 of the Nevermore Readathon today. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, let me know. If you'd like to see more vlogs, let me know. And I hope you have a great day, night, wherever you are. Thank you again for watching. Bye.